Remedy Entertainment, a game developer that actually cares about their games. This is how I feel about them. Yeah, I respect the living hell out of them. I've played Remedy games for most of my life. I had their first two games, Death Rally and Max Payne, as part of my childhood. I didn't know about any of their other games until much later. As of today, I've played all of their main games, apart from Alan Wake 2 because, it's not out yet. And I've only beaten like 4 of them, but so far I'd say that they're quality games, all of them. Death Rally I mostly remember for its amazing music. I never beat it because I suck at it. Max Payne is one of my favorite games ever, most certainly top 5, and nowadays, I can really appreciate it for what it finally became. It does have some badly designed sections though. Max Payne 2 went unnoticed until around the 2010s. Such a shame too, since it's such an awesome game. I even consider it, as of this moment, my absolute favorite game. It's just well designed and fun to repeat. Could use some tweaks that the remakes could possibly consider. For example, the lack of use for Max's sniper rifle. Alan Wake, a game I wanted to play for a long time but couldn't bring myself to do it. Finally on Q4 of 2022, I finally got to playing it. Despite not being a fan of the horror genre, I still enjoyed it. I haven't continued my second playthrough though. Alan Wake's American Nightmare was okay, not the strongest game, repeating the same 3 areas 3 times. If there's one thing I do like about it, I managed to beat it without dying on my first playthrough, and I didn't look up anything in advance. It was all nerves and luck. Quantum Break. I can't say much about it, I only beat the first episode so far. I've been wanting to find the right time to continue. No luck so far. I do find it slightly interesting. Control. Played it on my PS4 and I think I've made decent progress. I'm not sure how far in I am, but I do find it very intriguing. Also very good looking. I have it on Steam too with its DLCs. Maybe sometime I can play them there too. And Alan Wake 2, well, it's not out yet, but I have it purchased in advance. I'm not into survival horror, but I have hope that if I enjoyed the first one, this one should also be possible for me. What I have seen of it had convinced me enough. And now I want to talk about something for a bit. Alan Wake 2's release. Or 2 things about it. Firstly, I've seen some people calling it woke for including a black woman called Saga Anderson as a protagonist. Some say that they don't want to play as her, don't want her as a prominent character, argue that she was white before, even though that was more of an outdated concept than a final character, and whatever else. First off, calling it Alan Woke 2 is ridiculous. I personally welcome Saga as an interesting addition to the story. I look forward to seeing how her story goes, along with Alan's. And now for the biggest rotten fish of the release. For many, it's an issue that Alan Wake 2 is releasing digitally only. Now, many people have been very, and I mean very, vocal about their disapproval. Many even going as far as either not buying the game, saying how anti-consumer it is, or even outright blaming only Remedy for it. Have they forgotten that Epic Games is responsible for publishing the game? They are the producers. But I'm not saying that we have anyone to definitively blame for the lack of a physical release. It could be Epic. I personally don't think it's Remedy. I know it doesn't help that they are not addressing it, but there might be a reason. Or, as was listed on the Alan Wake site's FAQ, 3 reasons. Firstly, many people have switched over to playing digitally. This is not a good reason though, since there are still people playing physical, and having an option for it, especially for a AAA game, is great. Another reason is that they want to keep the price lower. Okay, sure, but again, many people have stated that they'd pay more for a disc. Their third reason is that they don't want to release a disc that requires a separate download, be that an update or whatever wasn't on disc. Why I find this the most reasonable one is simply, you can't change what you put on the disc. Preservation isn't very good with game discs that don't have the entire game in a playable state. Some game discs don't have the full game, some don't have it at all and just prompt a download, and there are even physical copies that literally only have a redemption code inside. I find having physical copies a problem if they're not going to have the entire experience on a disc without issue. I say we don't have physical copies until they're actually viable. Wait until the game is stable and can fit entirely onto a disc. Now, are these a problem for me? Well, obviously not. I already pre-ordered the deluxe edition on my PS5. And no, it's not a scam. I'm getting what I'm paying for. And it's not rent either. I'm paying for it once. Anyway, I went on for far longer than I intended. I'll leave it here. Another video sometime, hopefully. Bye.